WWE could be losing two major stars, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's going on with Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, and more. Starting things off with the two big apparent upcoming losses for the WWE roster, with those superstars being Bobby Lashley and MVP. Bobby Lashley appeared to have a good direction going for himself when the Pride was first being formed. The story was that he was going to take the talented Street Profits tag team and teach them how to take themselves more seriously and bring them to new heights. It was an intriguing premise for the faction. WWE did change the Street Profits theme music and ring gear for a while there, but ultimately the heel turn and group premise failed, because it seemed that the live crowds just didn't want to boo Bobby Lashley and Street Profits. The Pride was getting cheered in a majority of all their encounters. They were even getting cheered against Rey Mysterio and the LWO. So it looks like that's what made WWE revert the presentation changes to the Street Profits, and then Bobby Lashley would mysteriously vanish from television in the months after. Everyone assumed that Bobby Lashley was simply recovering from being a bit banged up and would return alongside the Street Profits. But a big bombshell was recently dropped by Fightful. They're reporting that Bobby Lashley is no longer listed on the internal roster. All creative pitches involving him have come to a full stop, and that he only has a little over a month left on his current WWE contract. They claim that it's unknown if Bobby Lashley and WWE will reach an agreement on a new deal. But if WWE lets Lashley walk, he intends on continuing wrestling elsewhere. And this situation appears to be right on track with what's been happening a lot with big stars in recent months, like Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, and Drew McIntyre. Big stars have been literally coming down to the final days and hours of their current deals, without any extension talks being made. So that's just how things are being handled right now. Extensions are being worked on or negotiated right before the expiration, so that leaves Lashley's future hanging in the balance at least for the next few weeks. If they let Bobby Lashley walk, that'll obviously be a devastating loss for WWE. Bobby Lashley's been one of the top stars in the company over the last few handful of years. And like we were just talking about, he was so popular with the fans that a heel turn from him literally didn't work because fans were cheering him that much. So that's the kind of star he is. No one knows what Bobby Lashley is going to do, but it looks like the general vibe is that Bobby Lashley will part ways with WWE after the expiration. Someone that quickly inserted their name into the conversation after Bobby Lashley's contract news came out was MVP. MVP took to his social media platforms shortly after Bobby Lashley's news broke to post this message, quote, "If you are brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello," end quote. Fans obviously believe MVP is using that quote in the context of talking about being brave enough to say goodbye to WWE for other opportunities. MVP's departure from WWE is not that surprising at all, considering how he's been speaking about the company on his social media platforms while still being under contract. It was something we spoke about a few weeks ago, but MVP was just responding to fans' Instagram comments, talking about how Vince McMahon and Triple H both did the Hurt Business wrong, and how they stole all of his ideas in order to give it to the Bloodline. So MVP was already speaking like someone that left the company, so his departure isn't that surprising at all because of that reason. Fans are now even discussing the possibility of MVP and Bobby Lashley now reuniting after their WWE departures, and finally reforming the Hurt Business outside of WWE's umbrella. The Hurt Business was something both men were very passionate about, and despite a reunion being teased in WWE during 2021 and 2022, it just never took place. So with Lashley and MVP on their way out of WWE, could this finally be the shot to link up again and do things the right way for the Hurt Business? Be on the lookout for that potential reunion outside of WWE. Now let's get into some very interesting Bloodline related matters. The first matter being another teaser from Rikishi. Rikishi's been doing a lot of teasing involving his own involvement in the Bloodline story. His most recent teaser came during a moment on the show, where he said that another Bloodline member may possibly pull up on the show in a black Lincoln, and how that's the only thing he's gonna say. The Black Lincoln is a reference to Rikishi himself back in 1999, where he ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin in a Black Lincoln at Survivor Series. So Rikishi is saying that you just don't know when that same Black Lincoln may pop up again in WWE someday. With how much teasing Rikishi has done, and considering that this storyline closely follows 3 of his sons, fans feel like we just have to see a Rikishi involvement in the story one day, even if it's a cameo role. As far as the other Bloodline-related matter, this involves a growing fan theory for a big swerve with Roman Reigns' SummerSlam return. The big belief right now is that Roman Reigns will return in the closing moments of SummerSlam to cost Solo Sikoa the WWE title, and finally get revenge on him for stealing the Tribal Chief position and causing all the trouble from over the last few months. WWE has even confirmed that Solo and Cody will be the final match of the night at SummerSlam, so that appears to support the idea even more that Roman will be returning to close out the show. But there's one insane fan theory that's going around right now that has fans talking, and that's the idea of, what if Roman returns to actually help Solo Sikoa win the WWE title from Cody Rhodes, pretend to acknowledge Solo, but then turn on Solo in the coming weeks after that to dethrone him for the title and the head of the table position all in one go. And that's definitely a swerve. Many fans are expecting to see Roman return at SummerSlam, but no one would be expecting Roman to actually help Solo Sikoa. So in terms of just pure shock value and having a big twist, that's definitely the route for that. But the problem with this fan theory is that it just lacks a lot of common sense and has so many holes to it. After everything Solo's done to Roman and Paul Heyman over the last few months, Roman coming back to basically be Solo's lapdog for a while would be extremely anticlimactic. Not to mention that this direction would also feel like Cody's big moment never happened, because the WWE title would just go right back into being fought over within the Bloodline. The whole story will pretty much be back to where it started instead of advancing. So fans may enjoy talking about this wacky and crazy twist, but it just doesn't seem like it has any real shot of actually happening. It looks like the real direction will be for Roman to cost Solo the title, and for this Bloodline Civil War to continue with no title being involved, just family business, all while Cody Rhodes continues his title reign away from the Bloodline drama. But that's not to say Cody is done with the Bloodline for good. It looks like the biggest threat to Cody's title reign at the moment is still The Rock. The Rock appears to have the highest chance of potentially dethroning Cody Rhodes and setting back up Roman versus The Rock for the WWE title. So the Bloodline is approaching their 4-year anniversary, but the stories and theories are still running strong, and it'll be great to see how strongly they close out the back half of 2024 with that storyline. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.